he called us for an interview. And in the interview, he made me sit next to him, and he created a Mangal Sutra. And when he was giving it to me, he said, I am always with you, in you, everywhere around you. Be sure I'll always protect you. Can you believe that? And that was like what else can a person ask?
Sairam, dear listeners, welcome to Sai SOUL 100. Our guest today is Sister Kumkum Bhasin, who is joining us from Charlotte, North Carolina. Sairam, Sister Kumkum, thank you for joining Sai SOUL 100.
Sairam, when new people come to join us now that Swami's form is no longer there, they always feel, how can we be attracted to them? What I want to really make a point is, we don't need his form. He is always with us in every way possible. Before I go any further, let me first start. Everybody likes to know how we came to Baba, my Sai. And this was in 1957 when Swami went to Kashmir for the first time. And my father's friends, a few days before Swami was to come, my father's two good friends, they said, oh, there's a guru coming to Srinagar and let's go and see him. My father said, no, what nonsense. I don't believe in gurus and I only pray to the Lord. So they insisted and somehow or the other, my father agreed. This was a big, big hall. And my father said, you go inside, I'm not coming in. I'll stand at the door and see him and I'll come back home. So they all went in and Papa stood at the door, and from the other end of the big hall comes the sound, Prannath. My father says, that was his name. Prannath, Andarao. Like, Andarao means come in. My father is very surprised, so he walks in quietly and he goes and he does pranam. Naturally, since he's a religious person. And my father was very religious. My whole family, from my great-grandfather onward, have been into religion. And Baba says to him, go home, bring your wife and your son. So my father says, how does he know I have a son, a newborn son, about 10 months old? So my father says, yes, Baba. And he goes home, he brings the son. And Baba says, he wanted to be born in Bangalore. And your wife tried to tell you, take me to Bangalore, and you would not bring her. He is my old devotee, and he wanted to be born in my presence. So my father, of course, that was the last. And since then, it has been nothing but Baba this. Nothing is done in our house without his permission, without asking him. So then, of course, there were we've had lots of savings. He saved my brother who had pneumonia. The doctor said he won't last till tomorrow morning. And that evening, we saw in our living area lots of chappals lying and bhajans going on. And my father and mother looking and saying, there's nobody over there. How come all this? And 6 months later, when they went to Baba, Baba says, I came to your house and you didn't even ask me for a cup of tea. But nothing was visible. But the bhajans were going on, the chappals were there. Coming after that, this was in 57. I saw him for the first time in 1971. And when I saw him first time, I was very scared, because, you love him, but you are still scared that you're seeing somebody who knows everything. So this was for my wedding. And my father said, without his permission, you're not going to get married to the person. They had chosen the person. It wasn't my love or anything like that. And my father took me to Bangalore, and we went to Bangalore, and Baba was sitting there. And then he called us for an interview. And in the interview, he made me sit next to him, and he created a Mangal Sutra. And when he was giving it to me, he said, I am always with you, in you, everywhere around you. be sure I'll always protect you. Can you believe that? And that was like what else can a person ask? And I had never been out of my parents' house. I got married one Friday. Next Friday, we left for Hong Kong because my husband was in the foreign service, Indian foreign service. And the next Friday, we left for Peking. And Peking was at war with India at that time in 1971. But I had this Mangal Sutra, which I have always worn, even till now I wear it. And then came about 6 months later, we had ordered a car from Hong Kong to come to Peking. And there were lots of restrictions in China. So we were told that if you want to go and get it, you can only go up and get the car and come back. So we borrowed a friend's car, and the driver was driving and my husband sitting in front, I was at the back. And suddenly there was a cyclist in front of the car, and the driver tried to save the cyclist, and we had a massive accident. Our car rolled 2-3 times, and we couldn't even get out because the car was upside down. Anyway, somehow or the other, we came out of it, and my father calls in the evening and said, "How are you feeling?" So I said, "Why? What do you know?" So he says, "Did you not have an accident?" Yes. I said, "Yes, we had an accident, but how do you know?" He said, "You know who saved you?" So I said, "How?" So he says, "I was sitting right next to Baba, and suddenly Baba went out of his body and and came back after a few minutes and said, 'I've just saved your daughter.'" And you won't believe it. This was a place where it was in the boondocks. There was nothing there. Chinese trucks were coming and going, but they would not stop because they thought, we were foreigners. So then suddenly we a Chinese old man coming on a cycle, coming, "Are you all right? Everything okay? Don't worry, you will be taken care of." I think that was Baba in that room. Nothing else can I think of. Anyway, later on, the people came from the embassy and they took us back and whatever. That was one of the way he saved. And did we need, see, we were not, Baba, if we think that Baba was not there, it's impossible. Baba is everywhere. The Vibhuti, Vibhuti is such a powerful instrument we have in our hands. You cannot even imagine. I was expecting my first child, my son, and I was in labor for about 15, 16 hours, severe labor. So the doctor came and she said, "I'm sorry, but I think we have to do a C-section." So my father said to her, "Can you give me 5 minutes? If after that you need to still do the C-section, please go ahead." And he just took the Vibhuti, put it on my stomach. And after 20 minutes, my son was born without any C-section, everything clean. So Vibhuti is so powerful and we all have it. We don't need anything else. Vibhuti is like a medicine. Vibhuti is like a blessing which Baba has given us. So we were transferred to South Africa. And I was very scared because those were the times when this thing, the blacks and the whites, there was a lot of things going on, and I was scared basically. And you won't believe, Baba came in my dream. He showed the house that he was coming out of the house. When I went, I did not know that that was our house. He just came in my dream and showed the house. When after I went for the first time into the house and I saw the entrance, it was exactly the same entrance. I mean, people will say, "Oh, you have imagination." It's not imagination, it's the faith. Faith is what we have to have solid. And when you have solid faith in him, he is always there for you. There is no doubt about that. He always says, "Have faith in me." We were in South Africa, I think, when a while. She was the editor of Sai SOUL, which is the magazine of our region, our region, New York based. So in 2002, she told me, she said, Kumkum, will you please take over the Sai SOUL, be the editor of the Sai SOUL? I said, Deepa, are you mad? I've never even studied English. I started studying English at the age of 11. And I said, I have not even idea what a verb is, what this thing is. She says, take it. So I went to Bangalore and I was sitting in the line, and Swami comes up to me. And I said, Swami, they want me to be the editor of Sai SOUL. And I don't know English. You know what he did? He put his hand like this on my head and then tuck, 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 tuck. And I felt as though he was, patting me on my back. And then he said, do it. And that's it. I have no idea what comes out in the Sai SOUL. But every time I hear from people saying everything is so well coordinated, everything matches with each other, I don't know how. I have no idea. You can't even believe it. I have no idea. But it just gets done on time. I wish I know that it is Sai who is doing it, because he knows. Leave it to him. He'll do anything, everything. He is amazing. He's amazing. He is always with us in our hearts. He tests us. He tests us. I started praying about a few years ago. I was trying to be very religious, and I have a lot of faith in Swami. I have a lot of faith in Swami. So I said, Swami, thy will is my will. Thy will is my will. And that was used to be my prayer. And he is not going to let you go without a test. He does not let you go. And how did he test me? He tested me. Last year, I lost my husband. And immediately the will thing went into the boondogs again. And I said, oh, Swami, what have you done? Why did you do it? Why did you leave me alone? I have no will to live. Take me away. And you will not believe, I have this book which my father gave me the day I got married. And I went. And every morning when I pray, I take a saying of his. And for that day, that saying is the most appropriate saying in the world. And you won't believe it. The first saying that, which has been coming since my husband has passed on, is worry and grief there always be of one type or other in the past, present, and future, while walking, dreaming, and sleeping. But place faith in the Lord and do your tasks as dedicated to Him, and they will vanish. What a beautiful thought it is. And you have to be aware of the fact that He is there. I only know that He is there. Nothing else. I have no idea. My husband passed away, and after the funeral, in 1 week, I moved to Carolinas. I was living in New York, in Setauket, and I moved to New York. And, we had to get a house because both my husband and I had promised each other that we will not live with our children and be, and depend upon them. We will try to be independent. I'm not a very independent person. I am a very lonely person because I've had my husband for 52 years, all the time with me. And naturally, I'm not used to it. But since I had promised my husband, my son and my daughter-in-law is so good, you can't even imagine. And she and we looked for a house. We found a house within a week or 10 days. And then we put in our offer. And my son says to me, Ma, they have accepted. He called me and he said, they have accepted the offer. And so in the evening, I'll come and talk to you. So in the evening, he comes and he says, Ma, the house we had put up in Setauket for sale is sold today only. So you see, the house got sold and I got the house and I didn't have to borrow any money or anything. Everything fell so smoothly. Why? He, only he, only he can do things like this. Can anybody do like that? It is impossible. It is only the Lord. He is there. The only thing is we have to be aware of the fact that he is with us always, taking care of us, looking after us. This Sunday, he gives me a dream. And he's sitting on a chair, and I try to go and get his Pad Namaskar. And he says, not just now, after a little while. These days, I'm looking after my nephew's little twins. They are 4 months old. So I'm just trying to help his wife get through the difficult time. So every time when I see them, I take their little feet and I put them to my head and I kiss them and I say, Sairam. You won't believe in that dream. After the thing finished, little feet came up to me and I had to kiss them and say, Sairam, get my blessings. So he knew even that. Even you can call it imagination, whatever you like. I don't care. But in my heart, I know that he was accepting my every morning kiss and this thing on the feet of those little girls as my prayers to my Sairam. Isn't that beautiful? How he shows, you know, one thing, you can say imagination, whatever. You have to believe in your heart that he's with you. And then he gives these little signs which you have to pick up. He's not going to come and tell you. He has to give the signs. He has to give the signs. You understand? Yeah. And for the newcomers, I would say, the ones who haven't seen Swami's form, I would say, believe in him. He is there. He's not just a picture. He is Swami. He's our Lord. He is the Lord. Once we had gone to Puttaparthi, then after my father's passing away, the whole family went, my sisters and brother and mother. And he called us in for an interview. And of course, as usual, we were sitting right next to him. And then he says to me, he says, have I ever given you anything? So I said, yes, Swami, you gave me my Mangal Sutra. Say, that is old. Let me give you something new. And then he gave me this. And he put it inside out so that when you see it, it is the right way. And he gave me this chain with it. I put a double chain because I'm so scared it'll break and I'll lose something. And he gave me this. And he put my head on his lap, literally put my head on his lap and tied the thing. So I thought that was so beautiful. That was such a loving gesture. I don't know why he loved me. He loves me. I know that. He loves me. So that was nice. And of course, he gave my sisters also and everybody he gave. But I was the one who had the biggest opportunity of putting my head on his lap. What else can I ask? Then he gave me his robe. When we came out after the interview, he said, sit. Then he went to his cupboard, brought out two robes. One he threw at my sister, younger sister, and one at me. That robe is like my life, you know. When I am unhappy, I just hold it and it gives me so much peace. And there is another saying which I want to close with. I'll say, yes, Swami, you've forgotten me. You haven't taken care of me in a long time. You haven't come to me. He says, I am yours. You are mine. I do not await even an invitation. Our relationship is not external. It goes deeper and into the realms of the spirit. I'm with you and in you. So I need no welcome nor previous request. I can only say thank you, Swami, for being my guide, for being with me all through, Sai. I love you. I am only surviving this loneliness because of you, because you are with me. I love you, Sai. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Sairam.
Sairam, Sister Kumkum. when you went to Swami to get his blessings for your wedding. Amazing that he created the Mangal Sutra, which you showed. And he said, I will always be with you. Right? And time again, all of your stories are reflective of the fact that he truly is with you.
Yes.
Even when you had your husband right there with you, even after your husband's passing, that book that your father gave 52 years ago is still with you, giving you those magical powers of Swami's love.
Yes.
That inspiration. It's the faith, and also not just blind faith, but he has time and time again come and shown you
Yes.
that I'm there with you, right? And when you were in that accident and your father happened to be sitting next to Swami, and for Swami to say, I just saved your daughter's life. The Lord himself is right there protecting you. Even though he told you physically that he'll always be there with you, he's there with every single one of us. And thank you for sharing your story with everybody.
Thank you.
Sairam, dear listeners, thank you for listening to Sai Soul 100 with Sister Kumkum Bhasin. I'm Prabha Swaminathan. Until next time, Jai Sairam.